learning, listen to this next question. Do you like school? School probably makes you think of sitting quietly, listening, or doing worksheets, lectures, homework, and for most kids, boredom. That's what school is. But what should it be? School should be a place to learn, a place to make mistakes, a place to prepare us for our careers and lives, an opportunity to ask questions and be creative. But to me, that doesn't sound like school. Imagine that someone gives you a worksheet. Let's say that you don't know the names of colors. It asks you which one's red. There's red and blue. You choose blue on the left. Wrong. Next question. Which one is yellow? You choose yellow on the right. You're correct. You go on choosing the answer on the right each time, and you're always correct. You didn't learn anything about the names of colors, just that on that particular test, the answer on the right-hand side was always the correct answer. Now imagine that a teacher explains colors to you and you practice and ask questions. That one probably worked better. The first one describes how we're taught at school a lot of the time. Of course, it's more complex than colors and with more variables. An article by Jimmy Lee talks about how much we remember over time. A German psychologist named Ebbinghaus did an experiment on how much we remember after 3 days. He created a list of 2,300 made-up words and tried to memorize them while repeatedly testing himself at different time intervals. After 1 day, he remembered 1/3 of the information. 2 days after that, he recalled 5% of what he learned. There's no point in learning if students won't even remember. Students go home from school and don't really think about what they learned that day, and then they'll see the material and homework later. A week later, the class is studying a new topic and there's something else to learn. Then they'll see the material on the test a few weeks later. The best way to remember what you learn is to have your first repetition within a day, second within a few days, third within a week, fourth within a month, and fifth after a few months. That's called the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. There are 3 types of learners: visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Visual learners learn by seeing, viewing, and watching. Auditory learners learn by listening, hearing, and speaking. Kinesthetic learners learn by experiencing, moving, and doing. Some teachers use PowerPoints, which appeal to visual learners. Some teachers use discussions, which appeal to auditory learners. Some teachers use hands-on projects, which appeal to kinesthetic learners. To effectively teach a group, teachers need to use all 3 types of teaching, so all students have the opportunity to learn. Some methods teachers use don't appeal to any students at all. We know this is a problem, so what do we do about it? An article by Yuki Chirata talks about the most effective ways of teaching and why they work. The first one is peer-to-peer explanations. When students tell another student what they've learned, memories are reactivated and strengthened. It also talked about the method I mentioned earlier, about reviewing the material at different time increments. The next method it mentioned was having practice tests. It helps with reviewing the material and it protects against stress, which can impair memory performance. Having an ungraded, low-stakes quiz can help students review material without stressing out like you would for a test or quiz. The next method it talked about was interleaving concepts, which is mixing different types of problems instead of similar. When students work with the same type of problems, they don't have to think about what strategies to use, and they default to using the same one over and over. The next method it talked about was combining text with pictures. When material is presented in different ways, its memories are strengthened. These teaching methods apply to all 3 types of teaching in different ways. I noticed that worksheets and bookwork, sometimes called busy work, wasn't mentioned, but it seems like that's what we do the most. I took a survey from my classmates, and 30% of students said that they only remember about half of what they learned last year, and 20% said less. I asked them how much they liked school on a scale of 1 to 5, and 63% said 3 and below. I asked them what they would change about school, and here are some responses. More classes available for different levels of students. More hands-on learning. The way the teachers teach. Make the classes more tailored to the students. The curriculum. But school is for the students, and if they feel like they're not being taught how they should be, then I think there's a problem. Teachers need to use more teaching methods that apply to all types and levels of students so that all students can have the same opportunity to learn.